You might be thinking, now that I understand how thoughts affect anxiety, what do I actually do with that knowledge? How do I apply cognitive therapy when I'm anxious and my thoughts feel out of control? Welcome back to Quieting Anxiety. I'm Dr. Monica Frank with Excel at Life. If you've been following this podcast, you've already learned a lot about how thoughts influence anxiety and how important it is to identify and challenge irrational thinking. In today's episode, we're going to go one step further, learning how to use a tool that helps you actually change those thoughts, the cognitive diary. Before we begin, take a few moments to settle in. Let your body rest comfortably, your hands relaxed, your shoulders soft. Take a slow breath in through your nose and gently exhale through your mouth. Let's continue with a few calming statements to center your mind and body. As you inhale, say to yourself, I can handle this. And as you exhale, this feeling will pass. Inhale, this is a process. Exhale, and I'm making progress. Now breathe in, I have tools to help me. And breathe out, and I'm learning to use them. One more time, inhale. These thoughts are just thoughts. Exhale, I can choose how to respond. Let your breathing return to a natural rhythm, carrying a sense of calm and openness. Now let's talk about how the cognitive diary method helps you turn these kinds of thoughts into lasting change. The first important concept in using the cognitive diary is why writing helps. A common reaction I get when introducing the cognitive diary is skepticism. Clients often say, but I know my thinking is irrational. How will writing it down help? It's a fair question, especially when so many people, including professionals, mistake CBT for simply thinking differently. But knowing something and believing it are not the same. Insight isn't the same as change. Cognitive therapy is about more than recognizing irrational thoughts. It's about creating believable, consistent, and reinforced new patterns of thinking. The cognitive diary is how we can begin to do that. The first step is creating a believable rationale, one that feels more convincing than the anxious or irrational thought it's meant to replace. Most people can identify their irrational thoughts, but they still feel emotionally attached to them. They say, but that's how I feel. This often means the emotional belief is stronger than the rational one. The goal of the cognitive diary isn't to force yourself into thinking positively. It's to develop a rational alternative you can genuinely believe. Let's say someone feels worthless due to childhood abuse. Telling themselves, I'm a good person, might feel hollow. But if we add evidence, I volunteer to help others, I protect and care for my children, then the statement becomes more believable. I am a worthwhile person because I treat others with care and respect. The diary helps you build this process by guiding you to explore the situation, identify your thoughts, assess them for irrational patterns, and then create a brief, rational statement that directly challenges the original belief. As we've discussed in previous episodes, repetition matters because it helps reinforce new, rational ways of thinking until they become more automatic. Here's the key. Identifying a rational belief is not enough. The new thinking needs to be practiced until it becomes automatic. Think of learning to play an instrument or a sport. Just knowing what to do doesn't make it instinctive. You need repetition to form the habit. It's the same with thinking. Irrational beliefs are old, well-worn mental pathways. We don't erase them. We build stronger alternatives. That takes time and consistent effort. Repetition is what rewires the brain. If you develop a believable, rational challenge to your thinking, keep it with you. Read it daily, post it somewhere visible, use it in stressful moments, and continue using the diary for different situations. The more you do this, the more you're training your brain to offer up rational responses automatically, even under pressure. Reinforcing new thought patterns through multiple modalities can strengthen your progress by engaging different parts of the brain. A benefit of using the cognitive diary is that it naturally engages these different parts of your brain. Reinforcing new thought patterns through writing, reading, and speaking helps strengthen those patterns by making the learning more dynamic and memorable. When you write your thoughts, you're seeing them from a different angle than when you think them. Some of my clients have said, "It didn't sound irrational until I said it out loud." Or, "When I wrote it down, I saw how extreme it was." That's why speaking, writing, and even reading your rational beliefs out loud can strengthen them. If you tend to support others better than you support yourself, try speaking your rational challenges in front of a mirror, as if you're giving advice to a friend. And just the act of planning to use the diary increases awareness. You'll start noticing your thoughts in daily life, even when you're not writing them down. That awareness supports the kind of repetition you need to build new habits. So today's takeaway is simple but powerful. The cognitive diary isn't just a journaling tool, it's how you retrain your brain. You're not just analyzing your thoughts, you're actively building new ones. And with time, repetition, and the right support, those rational beliefs can become your default. Now that you have a basic understanding of the cognitive diary method, let's walk through the specific steps to completing a diary entry. These same steps apply whether you're using the Quieting Anxiety app or writing in a journal. To make this process easier, I'm also releasing a set of cognitive diary training audios alongside this podcast. These audios can serve as a helpful teaching guide or template for journaling on your own. If you've been using the Quieting Anxiety app, you'll notice that it simplifies the process with selection menus based on your previous responses. But rest assured, everything we cover here can be done just as effectively with pen and paper. Step 1. Start by adding the date and a brief title to your entry. This helps you easily review and track your progress over time. Step 2. Describe the event that triggered your emotional reaction. Use as much detail as you need to clearly remember the situation. Step 3. Identify the emotion you experienced. Try to be as specific as possible. Many people struggle to pinpoint emotions accurately. In the app, you begin by selecting one of 6 general categories: anger, fear, sad, shame, confused, or happy. Then you choose an intensity level: mild, moderate, or strong, which reveals a more specific emotion. You can also choose multiple emotions because most situations don't involve just one emotion. If you're journaling, this full list of emotions and intensity levels is available on the Excel at Life website. At this point, also rate your distress level on a scale from 0 to 10 using the scale provided on the emotion list. Step 4. Write down the thoughts you had during the event. Be as complete as possible. You might ask yourself, what was going through my mind? Why did I think that? What if that thought is true? What am I worried about? Why did this bother me? These questions help uncover the deeper, often unspoken thoughts that contribute to your emotional response. After writing your thoughts, estimate the percentage of how much you believe them. This will be useful later when you compare it to the revised thinking. Step 5. If you're using the app, you can now select the problem type. This helps the app tailor cognitive challenges that are more specific to the issues you're facing. Step 6. Carefully reread your thoughts and compare them to a list of cognitive beliefs or thinking styles. You've already learned about many of these in earlier podcast episodes. If you're unsure, that's okay. This process takes time. You can review the materials as needed. If you're journaling without the app, the beliefs list is also available on the website, or you can use one from another source you're familiar with. Also, if you're using the app, be aware that the app allows full customization of this list, so you can use other sources if you choose. Choose the top 3 or 4 beliefs that apply most clearly to your thinking. While you may notice several more, it's best to narrow your focus. Too many at once can feel overwhelming. Step 7. The app will now offer you a list of cognitive challenges related to the beliefs you selected. Choose the ones that are most helpful and relevant to your situation. Again, limit yourself to just a few so you can stay focused. If you're journaling, you can find these challenges on the Excel at Life website. After choosing the most relevant ones, take time to rewrite them in your own words. This makes your new self-talk more meaningful and powerful. Step 8. Rate how much you believe the new rational challenge. If your belief in the challenge is low, you may want to revise it to make it more believable. If it's somewhere in the middle, it usually means you just need to reinforce it by repeating it frequently. Final step. End with any positive reflections or plans. You might want to give yourself encouragement about the effort you made, or outline how you plan to handle similar events in the future. I know this process might sound like a lot at first. I used to tell my clients, just aim for 1 diary entry a day. Most of the time they'd come back with 2 or 3 for the week. But even if you only complete 1, that's progress. The more you do this, the more quickly it will start to help. And if you're not doing it as often as you think you should, try not to be hard on yourself. This work still makes a difference, even if it takes a little more time. I'd like to offer a caveat for those who have suffered serious trauma. Often I have found that those with trauma, especially childhood trauma, need to work directly with a therapist because they have difficulty determining rational alternatives because of the lasting effects of the psychological manipulation and conditioning they experienced. If this is your situation, you may want to discuss this further with your therapist before continuing. So for today, your reflection question is to consider what would be a reasonable goal for completing the cognitive diary. Your task is to start work on your cognitive diary. You don't have to focus on only events that occur today, but any that have bothered you in the past can be used to complete a diary. Also, don't forget to review your diary because that helps to reinforce the new thinking. And don't forget to continue listening to the relaxation audios and companion audios that are relevant for you. Also, be sure to review the cognitive diary training examples to help you learn how to use the cognitive diary. As we come to the end of today's episode, take a moment to return to your breath. Inhale slowly and exhale gently. You've taken another step toward understanding your thoughts and shaping your responses with greater clarity. Let's close with a few calming reminders. Inhale. Change takes practice. Exhale. And I'm committed to the process. Inhale. Each time I reflect. Exhale. I grow a little stronger. Inhale. I don't need to get it perfect. Exhale. I just need to keep going. Let your breath settle, letting these words stay with you. You're doing the work, and that matters. When you're ready, gently return your attention to the present moment. And remember, every effort counts. You're building something meaningful, one breath, one thought, one step at a time. You've got this. Until next time, keep practicing, keep breathing, and keep moving forward.